can you please explain what exactly is an appraisal?
An appraisal is an estimate of value based on historic facts. Also, using active and pending listings to incorporate a value.
And for how long does the property have to be on the market for you to be able to use it?
Generally, in this case, in this particular market, you want recent data because that's the recent reactions of the buyers and sellers. So an appraisal is an estimate of value based on data, current, historic, and active data.
Friends from Cafecito time. Today I am here with Jorge Mesa and Anthony Zamora, and we're going to talk about what is title for a property. Hi Tony, I wanted to ask you, what exactly is title?
So, that's a great question. A lot of people tend to ask because they don't know what title insurance is. But anytime there's a real estate transaction, whether it be a refinance or a sale, there's title insurance involved. Now, what is it that we do in the title insurance industry? Basically, we make sure that there's no liens, judgments, or any type of encroachments that may affect the transaction, okay? In our industry, there's a lot of fraud. So just rest assured that when you get title insurance, your transaction is fraud-free because we insure a policy, and when that property is transferred to a new owner, there is no fraud involved. There's no liens or judgments that are going to carry over. Any problem that might have occurred on the previous owner's transaction is not going to be on the new owner's transaction, and that's why you get title insurance.
Thank you. So Jorge, can you please talk a little bit about homestead and how it helps a home buyer?
Well, believe it or not, Sole, the number one phone call that we get on title is from lawyers. It's not even from escrow officers or lenders.
How is that?
They want to know if there's a homestead declared against that property. So the way the homesteads work is very simple. If you're married, you can protect up to $600,000 of your equity, and if you're single, up to $300,000. That's in most of the counties in Southern California. There's one county that you can do it's less, and that's San Bernardino. You can only do $450 and $250 if you're single.
Wow. Tony, what is the most common ways of holding title?
So the most common ways of holding title that we see in our industry is a single man or single woman. That's traditionally if it's just one person on title. Now, if it's a married couple, the traditional way to hold title is as joint tenants. Or if there's someone else on title with you, that avoids probate. So that's a safe way to avoid probate, is to stay as joint tenants.
Great, thank you. Tony, can you tell us a little bit about cloud and title?
Yeah, so we see this a lot with clouds on title. One main thing that we constantly see when there's a cloud on title is child support liens. For example, if somebody fails to pay for their children and their child support, there is a cloud that could be placed on the title that will affect the property.
So it won't clear until
until it's actually resolved with the child service department.
Great, thank you. Jorge, why would a cloud not show in the prelim but can show in the Social Security?
Okay, so when you're selling a house, there's a document that you need to complete for us that is called the Statement of Information. With that, you're going to give us your social, and we need to run your social against any problems. And sometimes we see the judge answer the liens on the Statement of Information. Well, why? Why not against the property? Maybe when you before you bought the house, you were having some issues with child support or American Express or with any car company. So the way they attach liens into you is through your social. Then when you buy a house, those liens, they get attached to the property.
I see. Thank you. So Jorge, why is it that sometimes the prelim is clear but there's issues in the Social Security?
Number one phone call that I get every day. Okay, let's pretend that 10 years ago you didn't own a house on it, but you have a child support lien, you have an American Express that you're not paying, a Visa card, or any type of loan that you're not paying. They need to put a lien on you, where they're going to issue that against your social. 10 years later, you buy a house, and it's not going to really do much for you to buy a house, even if you have these liens or these judgments. But when you try to sell, now those liens are going to be attached to the property.
Thank you.
Hello everybody, welcome to Cafecito time, and let's welcome November. Can you believe it? Well, today we're in for a big treat. We're gonna talk about termites, and who better than Javier Munoz. Javier, thank you for coming. Javier has a very long-term business in the city of Downey, and I am very proud to say I've been working with him for at least the last 10 years.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia, for having us. Downey Exterminators. I'm the owner of the company and been in Downey for over 18 years, 18 plus years now,
Yeah,
and servicing the community with all the termite needs.
thank you. So Javi, what exactly is termite?
Well, termite is a pest. It's an insect that eat the wood. They're just about the only ones in Southern California that will make damage to the wood by eating it, and it's something that should be taken care of to look at. Also, another source of wood destroying is water in the form of fungus and dry rot.
So it's created from the water, also the dry rot.
Well, water will damage the wood, yes, with time. With moisture, fungus, and then dry rot. So, as a structural pest control inspector, not only do we look for termites, and we will destroy the wood, which is also.
Thank you. Are there different types of termites?
Yes, here in Southern California we have two types: subterranean termites and drywood termites. Listen very carefully. Drywood termites, they don't drink the water. They eat the pulp of the wood, and the subterranean termites are in the soil looking for moisture because they drink water and wood to eat.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
Yes.
What are some of the indications that you might have termite, and when is a good time to call your company?
Correct, thank you for that. When is a good time to call? Well, usually homeowners call us when they see droppings, okay? Termite droppings, usually in the window sills, in the base molding, or coming from the ceiling, from the light fixtures. What does that indicate? That you do have termites in the attic. There's twice a year when we get termite swarmings. When you start seeing ants-looking insects with wings trying to escape to another source, another home maybe, perhaps to create a new colony. So when you see droppings, that's an indication that they are in your attic, in the sub area, or behind the walls. And they've probably been there for quite a long time.
Okay, so how often should an inspection be made?
I recommend at least every 3 years to have a professional inspected, where we go underneath the house. If you're in a raised foundation, we go to your attic, we inspect the interior and the exterior. I suggest 3, no more than 5 years.
Great. Let me ask you something, Javi. Would a new house be prone to having termites?
There's a possibility. Why? Because all new construction, most of it is done with with pine, which is a softwood that it's easier for the termites to eat. Versus houses that were built in the 40s and 50s and 30s is built with redwood, which is a harder wood to chew. So believe it or not, a house built in the 30s could last longer than a house built 5 years ago.
Incredible.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of new construction with termites because it's easier to eat, and the colonies rather eat that wood, you know. And then when they do multi-track homes where they get thousands of pieces of wood delivered, they're not hand-picked. So there's a possibility that I'm having a termite infestation. So yeah, new homes doesn't mean that excluded. Matter of fact, they're more prone for termites.
Wow. Now, as a realtor, we order termite inspections usually when there's a listing more than when there is a sale. How important is that?
Really important. Why Soledad? Here. The houses that the realtors are selling, they were probably built in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. What does that mean? They're 80, 90, almost 100 years old. So at any given point, I'm sure that has had a termite infestation. So it's something to have it checked every time, especially when you buy a house as a potential buyer. If you're making a $500,000, $1 million investment, I highly recommend have it inspected, because you, the realtors, and the buyers and the sellers, are not going to go in the attic. We're not going to crawl underneath the sub area, most likely. We do that for you guys, and we issue a report. And give or take, it could cost $350 for repairs. It could cost $4,000 for repairs. We don't know until we provide you with the report. It probably needs with the local tree, a couple of repairs, which we do that. Anything that is damaged by wood, damaged by the termite and wood, we replace it. Or it's damaged by water. So that is also included in that.
Thank you. So what is the difference between local treatment and tenting a property?
Good question. Here's the difference. Once we do a full inspection of the house, the licensed inspector would make a judgment call as to what the property needs. If we can find the infestation is just in a local area, then we call for local treatment, where we inject the chemical into the wood and kill about 60 to about 90% of all the termites in that colony. Now, when we find droppings in the attic, in the sub-area, interior, exterior, find a lot of infestation, that's when we make a call by doing a tenting. That's when you cover the property with the tarp for 48 hours. Because why? Because a local treatment would not be effective. You'll be wasting your time and money, and we issue a warranty, 1-year warranty with the local treat, 5-year warranty with the tenting job. Okay, it's a little more expensive, but it's 99% effective versus the local treat.
Great. Javi, I want to thank you for your time and the wonderful experience that we had talking about termites.
I know it's not a pretty subject, but it's something that needs to be looked at.
It needs to be looked at.
Yes.
So if you have any questions about termite, please contact Javi. His information is going to be in our video. And once again, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.